Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is absolutely a fantastic treat today. I know it's Monday. A lot of you guys are in the doom and gloom mode because it is Monday. And hopefully you'll be able to recognize the next gentleman I'm going to have here on the Rude Dog Show. I'm Rudy Reyes, and of course, I am not Kynan Forney, but Kynan is here. Welcome to the show, Kynan. How are you?
Good. What's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for coming on. You got a lot of stuff going on there, including working out with offensive linemen for the Falcons. I just had a story, and I have to plug this in, and I don't usually plug in other writers, but this is a really good story. You're working with Lindstrom. He had a toe issue he was contending with last season, but the gentleman who wrote this did a great job, Jason Butt, for the AJC. Of course, /Sports Atlanta. You can find him, I'm pretty sure, basically anywhere. Tell me about this situation where you're working with Chris Lindstrom at a personal OTA session where he found himself in a situation where he could do all he can do but could not do anymore. How did you become in contact with them, and what kind of takeaways did he have basically learned from you while you were in this training mode?
Well, first, I met him last year. I went up to the facility. The Atlanta Falcons still will bring me in for different little functions and appearances and things like that. They still show me love. So when I was up there, I actually met him and McGarry at the same time. I got a picture, matter of fact. I'll send to you if you want to post that. But I met them, and I just liked their spirit. They were some good, humble kids. You know what I mean? And so when I met them, I was like, man, you know what? I just hope that they would, that they could go all the way with it. It's like when you meet somebody good, you just pray for the best for them. So when everything happened this past summer, and I was just like, man, I know they're not working out up there at the facility. Let me reach out to him to see if he's in town and see if he wants to come by and, stay sharp on what it is he's got to do. But then, I love to show him a few things that he can take with him going forward, a few tricks of the trade, if you will. And, I reached out to him, and, he hit me right back. And I think it was at the end of June, and we've been working together for about a month or so now. And, working on everything that he would have been working on at OTAs and minicamp. But then I also threw in a couple of different little tricks as far as how he can play certain types of defensive linemen on the next level. Well, the NFL.
Of course, albeit the NFL. But, as you know, and it seems to be a topic everybody's kind of discussing nowadays. But I think more importantly, we have to learn that from an athletic standpoint, COVID-19 has been completely unfriendly to a lot of these guys. Matter of fact, it was just recently updated that by Thursday is the final day for players to opt out of playing in the 2020 season. And what that ultimately means is obviously it mean anything for me other than watching the next man up play hard, play solidly, and hopefully learn some things from the veterans that they had to follow behind. But more importantly, this really affected him in such a way that disallowed him from being able to, as you stated, play in standard OTAs, do the regular training camp situation, learning different moves. But you seem to kind of offset that for him. Was that a boost in his confidence? And how do you believe COVID-19 for him has kind of uplifted him after you got done working out?
Well, I have to say, first off, he already has a lot of confidence anyways. I think that just, what I mean? What we did, that just, gave him a little something extra, like he already is a grinder, anyways. He just wants to come in and work as long as he can and get as great as he can, So, I mean, I think that just added on to, his confidence anyways. One thing I will say is that after you play your first year in the league, you're expected to take a significant jump. So with him missing OTAs, minicamp, and things like that, that's where a young player can grow. Because you just got through playing your first full year, and your first full year is full of, playing in all-star games, combines, workouts, getting to the facility, being drafted, and just a whole lot of new things sprung on you. So, your second year, you're kind of getting a lot more comfortable with your scheme and what you're supposed to do. The guys you're playing next to, for him, it's the center and the tackle. Right. And so, with COVID wiping all that out, he missed kind of a few months of that. And I was just glad that he was able to come in and I could help him, still stay sharp on what it is he does, but also give him a few different things to take with him going forward. Because let's be honest, playing in the NFL, playing with perfect technique, yeah, sounds good all the time. Sometimes the guy in front of you, he makes a lot more money than you, and he might just be a better human being physically than you are, So there's a few things that you got to, have underneath your hat so you can, give the quarterback that extra half a second he needs, or get that running back that extra little inch of daylight so he can squeeze through that gap. You know what I'm saying? And so,
right. Yeah.
Hopefully I was able to pass some of that along to him. I had a nice little flavor of gumbo that I used to use, and pass the recipe on to him, and so hopefully he can add his own little flavor to it. But hopefully I also still got a few more things for him. Yeah.
Well, you can't let it all out of the bag immediately. You have to kind of gradually feed a lot of these guys because perhaps they're not ready. How do you know,
right,
as your experience would indicate, you play with the Jaguars, you play with the Chargers, you're drafted by the Falcons. How do you interpret a player's level of skill, being able to give him just enough but not overwhelm him? How do you gauge that?
I can usually tell within the first 20, 30 minutes of working with them. I have a series of drills that I put them through first off, just so I can look at them, how they move mechanically, how I'm able to tell what kind of athlete they are. I can usually tell what type of bend they have in their knees or waist. I can pick up on it pretty fast. And so usually after a few drills, I can see, okay, yeah, he's right where he needs to be. Let me add this drill on. Or if I look at him and be like, you know what, maybe we need to keep going with this progression, Sure. But usually with guys that are college, high school, not college, high school, but usually guys that are, college and get ready to go to the NFL, they have a certain level of, training or expertise already on them. So I'm just looking to see where they might be missing something, technical, something that they might have missed along the way. And, I guess I'm kind of the fixer, I look at them from top to bottom, just to make sure, their feet are right. And then I move on up, because, it sucks for you to have, what's the old metaphor? It would suck for you to have a good looking Cadillac out in the driveway and all four tires are busted. You can't go nowhere. So, I always look at their feet first, and then I gauge the rest of them going through the rest of the workout. And, usually after the first workout, I get a pretty good idea of where they're at, and I just kind of build going forward. I have in my head already what I want to do. And then once I see them, I can tell, okay, yeah, we need to go back over that, or, hey, we can progress. You can't teach somebody algebra if they don't know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide.
Right. Exactly. You can't expect someone to do the kind of work to put in. And what recommendations that you would have to actually give them for them to be able to think to their head, well, wait a minute, how do I do this? How do I do that? A lot of that, it's on the field. It's really as part of the classroom treatment, right? These guys are sitting in chairs, they're looking at screens, they're looking at blue screens, they're looking at coaches trying to explain what's going on, what you should be, what actual position. If there's a switch and last minute injury, since a lot of these guys will actually shift from playing guard to tackle, sometimes even being under center, hiking that ball, being the center.
Man, that's a hell of a change. A lot of people wouldn't think that that's a big change going from one side to the other. It's a pretty big change.
Yeah, it's a definite change. And I've interviewed a couple, obviously I don't know that Max Starks is a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, but just in interviewing him, he certainly has that mentality. He's won Super Bowls. I mean, he definitely knows what he needs to do, how he needs to do it. When it comes to progression, we're talking about progression, how these guys, and I don't think offensive linemen get enough love, to be honest with you. Why? Because it's all about the defense. Defense wins championship. Well, That very well may be the case. The problem with that concept is that these offensive linemen are the ones that are keeping the quarterback upright, for one, opening the gaps where they need to, lowering their center of gravity on demand. I mean, obviously defensive linemen do the very same thing, but offensive linemen have to bend to that and have to be able to give guys like Ben Roethlisberger and Matt Ryan, enough time in the pocket and to know when to shift over. And again, these guys aren't given a whole lot of love. What kind of recommendations would you give to guys who are really struggling getting off the line, being able to not only block the would-be tackler, but to be able to make those progressionary moves from one position to another upon demand, say there's an injury?
I would say, man, everything starts with your feet as far as offensive linemen concerned. There's a lot of other important details, but the first thing is your feet, because why? Your feet are going to take you to the block. If you can't at least get to the block, you can't, we can't tell you to make the block if you can't get to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I always look at a guy's footwork first. And if I see where his feet are, then I can take I can take it to the next level, so to speak, with him, But if their feet are off, then I gotta, let me slow you down. Let's get this right before we go to the next one, because, I can't teach you how to divide if you don't know your times tables. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like going from, a lot of people would think, if you play left guard, you should be able to go to right guard pretty easy. That sounds good, but there's a whole lot of shifting in your brain got to go on. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a left guard, you're used to probably being in the left-handed stance. And if you're pass pro with somebody, your outside hand is probably your heavy hand pressing a guy, his outside shoulder when he's pass pro, as opposed to if you're playing right guard, now it's your right hand. If he's rushing you from your outside edge, now you're using that right hand to be more pressure. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so now your footwork too. If you're a left guard, if you're kicking to a guy who's a 3 technique, who is, his, how do I explain this? If his feet are on your outside foot, you know what I mean? Like, let's say his crotch is splitting your outside foot. So now you got to, in order to slide left to kick to him, you got to use your right foot to get there. Or if you're at right guard and you got the same scenario and the guy is in a shade, or he's splitting, or his crotch is splitting your outside foot, now you got to kick with your left foot to slide over to him. It sounds easy, but sometimes it's not as easy as it is, as it sounds.
Right. Kynan Forney joins me here on the Rude Dog Show. I'm Rudy Reyes. Go to Simkovich Cranial Institute if you have any concussion issues, symptoms, all about quality of life. And make sure you check them out. It's a free consultation. Go to SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Kynan, a lot of offensive linemen have came to you, have spoken to you, are really kind of looking for your information from your insight. What would be the biggest takeaway that a lot of these young men have taken from you and have actually used it in real time that you've been able to actually see during games?
That I have on the job experience, that would be the main thing, like that'd be like you're an accountant. I'm not saying you're an accountant, but I'm just saying, like, if you were an accountant or you were trying to get into accounting, you wouldn't go talk to a plumber about how to be an accountant, right? So for me, being an offensive lineman, playing guard, playing in that inside box there, whenever I talk with them about certain scenarios, as far as like pass proing, a nose technique, a zero guy, which is head up on the center, or if a guy's in a 2-eye, which he's lined up inside eye of me, you know what I mean? And my center's going away. I told him, hey, look here. One time when we were playing against the Patriots and I had Vince Wilfork at this zero, I had to make sure that when I slide over to him, that I'm covering him up. I'm getting shoe to shoe, or I'm getting stripe to stripe, or I'm getting, crotch to crotch, excuse my language, but whatever verbiage I can use to get them to understand, hey, look here, you got to go cover him up because your center's going away. that's a hard job. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I talk that talk with them, they know I know what I'm talking about. And especially if I tell them, hey, look here, depending on the type of player you got, if he's a big old fat two-gapper, or is he a Aaron Donald type where he's shooting gaps, you might want to play it this way or you might want to play it that way. You know, like, matter of fact, here's an example. Like, when I was talking with Chris, we were talking about how back in the day, whenever I would have to play against Leroy Glover, he was so big and strong. Like, if you two-handed punched him, it might not do much to him because he's so strong, right?
Yeah.
So in order to play him, I would have to use like a boxer style technique where I would take my left hand, jab it on his inside chest, take my right hand and just keep popping him, just keep mirroring my feet, staying in front of him, and just keep shooting my hands at him, not allowing him to get his hands on me because he was so strong. He had hands like vice grips. If he grabs you and jerks you, man, he gonna jerk you and pull you on your face probably, you know? So you got to keep mirroring him and just, you know, 1-2, 1-2, box him a little bit.
Well, you listen to Kynan Forney. If you don't know anything by now, by watching this and listening to him, then you're missing the boat. A lot of you NFLers, if you guys need help, assistance, anything in the way of offensive linemen training even further because either it's COVID or you're not familiar, make sure you give Kynan Forney a call. Kynan, you can find, well, where can everybody find you out, and what other viable information?
Well, I train offensive linemen. I'm at Dash Performance, which is in Lawrenceville, Georgia. You can find me K Forney 65 on Twitter, or you can give me F65 Performance on Instagram, or you can just go to Dash Performance. They're on Instagram and they're on Twitter as well. And hit me up and, you know, let me know what you want to get done, and I know I can get you there.
Well, there you go. Kynan Forney, thank you so much. Kynan, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, a treat. And again, if you guys need his help, throw him a follow, ask him some questions. He's been there, done that, especially for you rookies out there that really haven't had the experience, a real-time game experience. Go give Kynan Forney a call, a DM, an IG message, whatever it takes. Thanks again, Kynan. I really appreciate your insight. Thanks for coming back on, and have to have you on again as the season progresses, and maybe we can see the Falcons get back into the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I hope so. I'm praying. You know, we got a good squad this year. We got a bunch of first rounders on that O-line. We potentially got 3 Hall of Famers on the offense. Name another offense in the league that has as many or more. You know, I'll wait. Can't think of one. Good. Yeah, we got a chance. You know, all that said, we got a chance. And defense, we got some guys on defense too. We got some guys coming back healthy. So hopefully we can get it done. But yeah, man, hey, if y'all, any offensive lineman, you know, and I'm going to do this like Suge Knight did at the Source Awards. To any old lineman that wants to come out and work on his trade and not have to worry about who is this guy, was this guy any good, could he play, come see your boy at Dash Gwinnett, F65 Performance on Instagram, K Forney 65 on Twitter. Holla at me. All decade Atlanta Falcons, NFC South all decade. And I ain't get that for being no scrub either. Well, let me teach you the game. Let me teach you the grid.
Well, if anybody can show you Kynan Forney, can definitely do that. Again, go follow Kynan. Thank you so much. I appreciate having you on. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show. Kynan Forney joins me here. Thanks again, man. We'll be in touch.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it, Rude. Hey, hit me up later in the season, man. We can talk offense for any team, man. I'm down for it.
All right. Well, I'll definitely look you up for sure. You heard it first here on the Rude Dog Show. Kyanan's going to come back on, and that's the way I like it. Thanks for coming on. Have a great day, and enjoy your evening. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.